Hello guys, it's Lion here with Hobbies Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another first impressions. We're going to be looking at the Darwin incident by Shun Mizawa, published by Kodansha. You guys can see right there. However, this is more of a vertical title because it has that longer size to it that is different from your usual tankobon. As you guys can see right here, illustrated by this normal standard size compared to the Darwin incident. The size and height is the same, but the width is different, and I'm not really sure why. I think this is supposed to more accurately represent like the B6 size, but scaled up to American standards. But I'm not really sure. So yeah, it's a seinen as far as I understand it. It's labeled as 16 plus here on the back, and the genres here are sci-fi, political, and I guess there's an element of slice of life to this, in the same way that there's an element of slice of life to the early parts of the modern Planet of the Apes movies, where it starts with Caesar living in a house and going through his life, and then it kind of shifts into something else, right? So same idea. In terms of adaptation, it does not have one, but I think there's only 3 volumes, and if that is the case, maybe we could make a cool anime movie, but I'm not really sure. I don't know how important this is, but I know that it has been relatively popular for Japan because a lot of European and Hispanic companies picked it up relatively soon after it started publishing, right? So yeah, the premise is that somehow a human and a chimpanzee had a child. Not like it was like artificially inseminated into the chimpanzee, and the child is born. It's a boy, and one day this militant organization of like vegans or some shit go into this this lab, and they try to free all of the captive lab animals, and they stumble across the birth of this child, and so they take the child away, they take it to a doctor, to a special veterinarian, and then this veterinarian manages to adopt the child for himself. And then we get a time skip to 15 years later, where this character, whose name is Darwin, I think. No, Charlie. Charlie goes to high school. And he's not really a human, but he's not really an animal. But he is somehow the best of both. And he ends up going to school, and this starts a crazy bit of social upheaval in the area that he lives in, but also in all of the U.S., right? So, which is where the story is set. And this all happens thanks to this organization of vegan terrorists called the Animal Liberation Army, or Alliance. And in general, I think it's a really interesting story. It's rather cool, and I like the characters. The artwork is also interesting and has this kind of like what I had a name for it, but I can't remember what it was called. It's kind of like it's like Urasawa, but a little bit different. It also reminds me of Adam. So maybe something like it's like a very modern, almost realistic kind of style to it that I like. I think it's good. It is really reminiscent of Naoki Urasawa and at the beginning, I can't remember who the artist for that is, Shinji something, I think, but it does kind of have that like style, like Naoki Urasawa light or something. There's only one problem with this story, and it's that the type font for the word bubbles, for some reason, just doesn't work for me. Something about it is not appealing, and I'm not really sure what it is, but it just doesn't look good to me, and that kind of sucks because everything else about this is great, but I noticed that I didn't like the lettering, and then suddenly I couldn't really enjoy the story because half of the page was full of this stuff that just didn't look good. And I'm not really sure what it was because I can't really tell the difference. But it just doesn't feel appealing. Like something about it bothers me. And maybe I'm making too much of a situation out of it. I'm not really sure, but something about this, about the way that it was lettered specifically, bothered me, and it didn't really work for me. And so even though I really enjoyed the story, I felt like a little bit unhappy with the results of reading it. But the story is good and it's interesting. I really like it. I like the 2 characters that we kind of mostly focus on, which is Charlie and Lucy. Lucy being a high school girl who is friends with Charlie. So overall, I recommend it. It's really interesting and cool, but it's also quite weird. So be willing to kind of go into this with an open mind. And if you like Planet of the Apes, I think you'll like this. So overall, good stuff there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.